The most dangerous place you can live is inside a negative mind. If you keep thinking the same way, you'll keep feeling the same way. And that's why most people stay stuck. They wake up with doubts, go through the day with fear, and fall asleep feeling defeated. It's not bad luck, it's untrained thinking. Your thoughts are either helping you or hurting you. There is no in between. This audiobook stop negative thoughts forever. The quick fix is your turning point. You will learn how to break the cycle of overthinking. Silence is inner noise. And finally, take control of your mind. This isn't this isn't about hype or motivation. It's about giving your brain the reset. It's about giving your brain the reset it needs to think clearly and feel better every single day. If your own thoughts are holding you back, this is where you stop that pattern for good. No fluff, no guesswork, just real change. Stay with this. You need to hear it all. Chapter 1. Stop believing every thought your mind throws at you. Stop believing every thought your mind throws at you. That's the first stop. That's that is the first step if you truly want to stop negative thoughts forever. You see, the human mind is powerful, but it is also noisy. It throws out thousands of thoughts every single day. Some of them are useful, but many of them are doubts, fear, and reminders of mistakes you made years ago. The trouble is, most people believe every single one of these thoughts as if each one carries absolute truth. That that is why that's why so many people stay stuck. They accept every voice in their head without question. But real change begins when you understand that thought is a thought is only a thought. It is not always reality. It is not all it is not always the truth. And it is not always worth your time or your trust. Think about it. Think about it. If a stranger walked up to you and whispered something cruel or untrue, would you immediately accept it? Of course not. You would question it. You might even walk away from it. Yet, when your mind does, when your mind does the same thing, whispering that you are not good enough, or that you will fail, or that you cannot change, most people nod their head and go along with it. That is the problem. And if you want the quick fix, and if you want to free yourself from the control of negative thoughts, you must learn to stop believing everything that pops into your head. Every single day, the mind throws out thoughts based on your past, based on your fears, and based on what you allow into it. If you consume negativity, if you consume negativity, your mind will throw your mind will throw out more negativity. If you have been repeating the same self-doubt for years, your mind will keep repeating it. But here is the truth you need to remember. The mind's job is not always to give you accurate guidance. Sometimes its job is to keep you safe. Sometimes it's trying to protect you from risk. Sometimes it's simply repeating old patterns. And if you do not take control, those thoughts will direct your life without your permission. Now, how do you actually stop believing every thought? The first step is awareness. being to notice what is going on in your head. When a thought comes, slow down for a moment and ask, is this true? Does this thought help me grow or does it push me down? Too many people live on autopilot, believing every idea that crosses their mind. But once you start questioning, you take back the power. You begin to separate yourself from the endless noise of your thoughts. The second step is to treat thoughts like suggestions. The second step is to treat thoughts like suggestions, not commands. If you have a thought that says you are not capable, recognize it as a suggestion, not a fact. If you have thought that says you will fail, see it as an opinion, not a prophecy. The difference is powerful. When you treat your thoughts as suggestion, when you treat your thoughts as suggestions, you can choose which ones to follow. You can accept the thoughts that build you up and reject the ones that break you down. The third step is to create new thoughts on purpose. If your mind throws out a negative one, counter it with a positive one. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, I always fail, stop and say, I am learning and I can improve. If the thought is, I'm not smart enough, replace it with, I can grow smarter every day. This is not about pretending. It is about reminding yourself that you are not a prisoner of whatever you are not a prisoner of whatever your mind throws at you. I know some people will say, but Jim, the thoughts feel surreal. Yes, they feel real because they come with emotions. Your body reacts. You feel tight in your chest when you feel tight in your chest when you think you are not enough. You feel anxious when you think about failing. You feel tired when you think life is too hard. But remember, feelings are triggered by thoughts. If you change the thought, you change the feeling. This is why you must stop believing. This is why you must stop believing every thought, because every thought deserves to shape your emotions or your actions. Let me give you a clear example. Imagine you have a big goal, starting a business, improving your health, or speaking in front of others. The moment you think about it, a thought might pop up. You are not ready. If you believe it, you feel fear, you hesitate, you give up. But if you say that's just a thought, not the truth, and replace it with I can prepare and take one step today, suddenly your emotion shifts, your action changes, and your life moves forward. This is the power of refusing to believe every thought. This is the power of refusing to believe every thought. Now, many people ask, how do I know which thoughts to trust? Here is the simple test. Trust the thoughts that move you closer to your goals, closer to your values, closer to the person you want to become. Reject the thoughts that keep you stuck in fear, regret, or doubt. It is that simple. You know deep down which thoughts serve you and which ones keep you trapped. Another key step is the change what you feed your mind. Negative thoughts do not come from nowhere. Negative thoughts do not come from nowhere. They grow from what you watch, what you listen to, and who you spend time with. If you feel you're down with constant negativity, your mind will reflect it back to you. But if you fill your mind with learning, with positive voices and with inspiring people, your thoughts will begin to change. The mind can only throw at you what you give it. So make the choice to feed it better. It is it is also important to write your thoughts down. When you see them on paper, you can analyze them. You can analyze them more clearly. You might write, I can't succeed. Then look at it and ask, is this always true? Is there evidence against Is there evidence against it? What would happen if I acted anyway? Writing creates distance. It shows you that a thought is just a sentence, not a reality. That simple step can break the grip of negativity. You must also understand the cost of believing every thought. Think about how many dreams have died because someone believed. A lot of dreams have died because someone believed they thought that they were not good enough. Think about how many opportunities were lost because someone believed they thought that they might fail. Think about how many relationship think about how many relationship were destroyed because someone believed they thought that they were unworthy of love. The cost is enormous, but the fix begins right here with you. You will no longer believe every random thought that comes into your mind. And let me tell you, once you practice this, your life begins to change quickly. You will still have negative thoughts. You will still have negative thoughts, but they will not control you. They will appear and you will see them for what they are. Just noise, just old programming, just passing signals, and you will have the power to choose differently. You will notice yourself feeling calmer, more confident, and more in control. But it takes practice. You cannot do this once and expect your life to change forever. This is daily work. Every every day your mind will throw thousands of thoughts at you. Your job is to filter them. Your job to take responsibility for which ones you accept. Your job is to remind yourself not every thought is worth my trust. So here is what I encourage you to do. Pay attention. Notice when a thought comes that you pay attention. Notice when a thought comes that makes you feel weak, afraid, or unworthy. Pause, question it, ask, do I want to believe this? Does this me does this move me forward? Do I want to believe this? Does this move me forward? If the answer is no, release it. Then replace it with something that builds you. This is the quick fix. It is not about stopping all thoughts. It is about learning It is about learning to choose the ones that deserve to stay. And when you do this long enough, your mind learns. It learns that you will no longer fall for every negative voice. It learns that you are in charge. And soon the negative thoughts lose their power. They show up less often. And when they do, they pass quickly. You have learned your mind to work for you, not against you. This is the first key to stopping negative thoughts forever. Stop believing every thought your mind throws at you. Take back the power. Take back the control. Decide your mind will not be dictated by fear, doubt, or lies. Decide your mind will not be dictated by fear, doubt, or lies. Decide that your thoughts must earn the right to guide you. Decide that your thoughts must earn the right to guide you. Decide that only the thoughts that strengthen you, build you, and push you forward will have a place in your mind. Do this, and your life will change in ways you cannot imagine. Because at the end of the day, your thoughts are the foundation. Your thoughts are the foundation of your life. If you want to stop negative thoughts forever, start by refusing to believe the ones that do not serve you. That is the quick fix, and that is the quick fix, and it is available to you right now. The moment you choose it, you begin a new chapter, a chapter of clarity, strength, and progress. And that is the life you deserve. Chapter 2. Question the story your negative thoughts keep repeating. Question the story your negative thoughts keep repeating. That is the next step if you want to stop negative thoughts forever. Negative thinking is not random. It usually comes back to the same stories your mind has been telling you for years. These stories from patterns, and once they take hold, they become the background music. They become the background music of your life. They might sound like this: I'm not good enough. I never get things right. Nothing ever works out for me. Nothing ever works out for me. Or I don't deserve happiness. These thoughts may show up in different situations, but if you look closely, they are really the same old story. They are really the same old story replaying itself over and over again. And the problem is when you never question these stories, you start living your life as if they are true. The mind is like a recorder. The mind is like a recorder. It picks up experiences, words people have said to you, and moments where you felt pain or rejection. Then instead of letting these experiences go, it keeps replaying them like a broken record. You can be doing something new today. You can be doing something new today, but the mind brings up an old memory from years ago, and your mind tells you, "See, this is why you'll fail. This is why you'll fail again." Without questioning, you accepted it. But here is the truth: those stories are not reality. They are just interpretations. They are built from moments in the past when you were less experienced, less aware, and less prepared. Yet your mind keeps bringing them into the present as if nothing has changed. If you want to break this cycle, you must stop. You must stop being a passive listener. You must become an active questioner. Every time a negative story shows up, pause and examine it. Ask yourself, is this story true today? Does it reflect who I am now? Does it reflect who I am now? Or is it just a memory of who or is it just a memory of who I used to be? Often you will see that the story has no connection to your current ability or current situation. It is just an old script that your mind hasn't updated. It is just an old script that your mind hasn't updated. Think about how damaging these repeated stories can be. If you believe I'm not good enough, every opportunity feels like a threat. If you believe I always fail, you won't even try. If you believe no one respects me, you walk into every room feeling small even when no one is judging you. These beliefs create your emotions, and your emotions influence your actions. Before long, the repeated stories are not just thoughts in your head, they are shaping your entire life. That is why questioning them is so important, because when you question them, you break their grip. Because when you question them, you break the grip. Now, have you question though these stories in a practical way. Now, how you question these stories in a practical way? First, recognize the specific story your mind keeps telling. Name it clearly. Instead of just saying, I feel bad, identify it. This is the story that says, I'm not capable. Once you name it, it becomes easier to challenge. Then ask yourself a series of questions. Where did this story come from? Who first told me this? Was it a teacher, a parent, a friend, or myself? And were they right? Many times you will discover the story started from one single experience or from words spoken by someone who was frustrated, angry, or limited themselves. Yet your mind carried those words like permanent truth. By identifying the source, you weaken its authority. Second, look for evidence against the story. The mind has a habit of collecting only the moments that fit a negative narrative. If your story is I always fail, your mind will highlight every mistake and ignore every success. But if you take a pen and write down the times you succeed, you will see that the story is false. If your story is, I don't deserve love, recall the people who cared for you, the friends who stood by you, the kindness you've received. There is always evidence that challenges there is always evidence that challenges the negative story. You just have to search for it. Third, create a new story to replace the old one. It is not just enough. It is not enough to just question the story. You must rewrite it. The old story is I'm not good enough. The new story might be I'm capable of. The new story might be I'm capable of learning and growing. If the old story is I always fail, the new one might be I have failed in the past, but I also succeed when I stay consistent. The key is to make the new story real, believable, and grounded in truth. You are not pretending. You are not choosing a story that matches a person you are becoming, not the person you once were. When you practice this process daily, you begin to notice a powerful change. The repeated negative stories lose their strength. They still show up from time to time, but instead of believing them instantly, you question them. You separate yourself from them. You see them for what they are, echoes from the past, not predictions of the future. And this is where freedom begins. And it is also important to recognize how these stories affect your body. A negative thought is not just mental, it creates physical reactions. If your story is, I'm not safe, your body tenses, your heart rate increases, and your stomach tightens. If your story is, I'm not worthy, your posture drops, your energy fades, and your motivation disappears. When you start questioning the story, you interrupt the chain reaction. You interrupt the thought before it turns into an emotion. You interrupt the thought before it turns into an emotion that control your body. Now let's talk about daily practice. Every morning before you start your day, take 5 minutes to scan your thoughts. Notice if the old stories are already playing. If they are, stop them early. Write them down and opposite write them down and write the opposite story. This small practice trains your mind to challenge negativity before it grows. During the day, when you notice if yourself, During the day, when you notice yourself feeling anxious, trace the feeling back to the story behind it. Once you identify it, Once you identify it, you can ask, is this story worth believing right now? Most of the time, the answer will be no. Another practical tool is to talk. Another practical tool is to talk back to the story out loud. When your thought says you can't handle this, Answer it with your voice. Yes, I can handle this and I will. Speaking it out loud breaks the loop in your head and creates power in your body. It reminds you that you are not a silent victim of your thoughts. You are an active participant who decides what stays and what goes. Be aware that the mind does not like change. When you first start questioning your stories, the negative ones may fight back. They may grow louder, insisting they are true. That is normal. It is not proof that they are correct. It is only proof that they are losing control. Stay with the practice and you will notice them weaken over time. Understand also that questioning your story is not about denying your past. Understand also that questioning your story is not about denying your past. It is about refusing to let the past control the present. If you made mistakes, acknowledge them, but don't let them define your identity. If someone hurt you with their words, recognize the pain, but don't let their voice become your lifelong soundtrack. You have the right to tell a new story, one that reflects your strength, resilience, and growth. The most successful the most successful people in the world are not free of negative stories. The difference is they do not believe them. They question them, they challenge them, and they replace them. That is what allows them to act with confidence. Even when fear shows up, you can do the same. Imagine your Imagine how different your life would look if you stopped believing the repeated story that drags you down. Imagine walking into opportunities without the thought that you always fail. Imagine building relationships without the story that you are unworthy. So the work is simple, but it is not easy. Pay attention. Identify the repeated Identify the repeated stories. Question their origin. Challenge them with evidence. Replace them with new ones. Practice this every day until it becomes automatic. The more you do it, the less power the old stories will have. This is not about perfection. Negative thoughts will still appear from time to time. The difference is you will no longer accept them as truth. You will see them and you will question them and you will choose better ones. And over time, your mind will begin to serve you instead of sabotage you. This is the quick fix you are looking for. This is the quick fix you are looking for. This is the quick fix you are looking for. Not to eliminate every thought, but to stop living under the control of repeated stories. Repeated stories that no longer serve you. Once you step, you will Once you step, you will feel lighter, freer, and more capable. You will see your past for what it was, a teacher, not a life sentence. You will see yourself as someone who has the power to choose, and that choice practiced daily is what leads to a mind that is calm, confident, and unshaken by negativity.